Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to lesson 38. In this lesson, we're going to cover a series of words in Arabic that are known as the sisters of kana. Alright, what does that mean? Well, if you recall back all the way to lesson 12, we studied the word kana in Arabic. And we said that the word kana usually means was. It can sometimes also mean is, but usually it means was. And the way it works is the word kana appears first, and then the subject of the sentence typically appears, and then the predicate appears. So the way that you translate this is the subject was the predicate, or the subject is the predicate. And the basic rule of kana, the basic grammatical rule that you need to remember, is that the predicate becomes in the mansub case. So just as a quick example, kana maridan. Alright, so he was sick. So here the kana appears first. The subject is actually missing, but it's implied based on the conjugation of kana. I'll talk about this in just a second. So you know it means saying he was, then sick or ill, maridan. And we see that it's maridan, not maridun. It's maridan because it's a predicate of kana. So kana's effect is that it doesn't change the subject, but it makes the predicate, the description of the subject, in the mansub case. So he was ill. Now, like I mentioned, you can also conjugate kana. So you can take the word kana and you can change its ending to indicate who it's being referred to. So kana means he was, kana means those two men were, kanu means they were, and so on all the way down to kunna, which means we were. And this conjugation is we covered this in lesson 12. It's not so important. The main thing that I want us to remember are these rules over here, which is how kana works. It comes at the beginning of a sentence, then the subject, then the predicate, and then the predicate appears in the mansub case. So these two rules, also apply to the sisters of kana. And there are many such sisters of kana, but only 5 of them appear frequently in the Quran. And so we'll take a look at those 5. The first one is Masala. The second one is dhalla. The third one is madama. The fourth one is Asbah. The fifth one is gada. So Masala means to continue or to remain in a condition. Okay, so kana, we said, was, and mazala kind of means to continue to be. Dhalla also has the same meaning, to continue to be. Madama has a similar meaning, it means as long as. Asbaha has a very different meaning, it means to become in the morning, particularly in the morning, to become in the morning. And then the fifth one is gada, which is almost or barely. It also has a very different meaning. Okay, so let's take a look at examples of each of these to make it super clear. The first one we said is mazala. It can also be lazala. So sometimes in the Quran you actually say lazala. And it's worth mentioning that the zala is the verb part here, so it can be conjugated. And so for example, in this first one here, you have la yazaluna mukhtalifina. So let's take a look at what's happening here. So la yazal is the first part here. So la zala, it has become la yazal, which means it's now present tense. So they continue to be. And now how do we know it's they? It's because la yazaluna. This is the ending for present tense, plural, masculine. So la yazaluna, they continue to be. Mukhtalifina is the predicate of the sentence. They continue to be people who differ. La yazaluna mukhtalifina. And because the predicate is an ism here, we have to turn it into the mansub case. And so you can see it's mukhtalifina instead of mukhtalifuna. Alright, let's take a look at another example here. So here we have ma ziltum fi shak. So just like kana can become kuntum, zala can become ziltum. So ma zala has become ma ziltum. You continued to be in doubt. Okay, you continued to be, that's maziltum, speaking to a group of people, maziltum, fi shakkin, in doubt. Here, the whole phrase fi shakkin is a predicate. It's not one word. And because shak appears after a preposition, it takes the majroor case, so it's shakkin, not shakkan or shakkun. Alright, so that's the first word, mazala or lazala. The second word is dhalla. So dhalla also, it has the same meaning as to continue or to remain, and it can also be conjugated. So for example, we have nadhallu laha akifin. So we continue to be devoted. So akifin is devoted, and this is the predicate, and so that's why it's in the mansub case akifin, not akifun. نظل لها عاكفين. We remain devoted to them. Oops. We remain devoted to them. Then here we have ظلتم تفكهون. This is past tense. And so they're saying that you would continue to jest. You would continue to jest. Alright, ma dama. So as long as. Okay, so this is slightly different meaning here. Ma dama, as long as. And also it can also be conjugated as well. So just like we have kunta, here it becomes dumta. Ma dumta hayyan, as long as I remain alive. Ma dumta. Ma dumta alayhi qa'iman, as long as you continue to stand over him. Over him. So ma dumta, as long as you continue. So dumtu, I, as long as I. Ma dumta, as long as you. Alright, now we go to asbaha. So asbaha is an interesting verb. It can mean to be in the morning, but it can also sometimes just mean to be. So you have to kind of look at the context and see which one makes sense. So for example, in this first ayah, asbahu fi darihim jathimin. So in the morning, they were crouching. So jathimin is the predicate, and so you can see here it's in the mansub case. Asbahu fi darihim jathimin. They were crouching in their dwellings. Asbahu khasirin. They became losers, or people who lost. So in this case here, this is the general meaning of asbaha, to just be. It's not referring to people who became losers in the morning specifically. So you just have to take a look at the context and understand what use is of asbaha is being used in that particular sentence. Okay? And then the final verb is gada, which sounds a lot like kana, but it has a very different meaning. It means almost or barely. So let's take a look at this example. Kadu, so similar to kanu, they were. Kadu means they almost. Yaqtulunani, they almost killed me. They almost killed me. Okay. Now, if kada is being negated, as in the following sentence, it actually means barely. So lam yakad yaraha. He barely saw it. Or he scarcely saw it in this case. He barely saw it. Okay? And so that summarizes the 5 sisters of kana. As we have seen, these 5 sisters, they can be conjugated just like kana can be conjugated. And if they take on a predicate, that's a single word, that predicate becomes mansub, and it takes the mansub case. The subject is unaffected. All right, great. So let's take a look at just a few exercises for us to practice what we have learned. The first one, لا يكادون يفقهون حديثا. All right, so here we have kada, but it's negated. So this means they barely understand speech. They barely understand speech. أصبحتم بنعمته إخوانا. Okay, you all became, by his blessing, إخوانا, brothers. So in this case, most likely, I don't know the full context of this ayah, but most likely this is not referring to in the morning. This is referring to generally. So by his blessing, you all became brothers. أصبحتم, you all. ظل وجهه مسودا. His face continues to be dark. So ظل continues or remains. So his face remains dark. And again, مسودا appears in the mansub case. ما زالت تلك دعواهم. So ما زال, it continues or it remains. تلك دعواهم. They're calling him دعواهم. I guess this would be their calling remains. And I can go back and have to check the ayah to understand exactly what the full context here is. But they're calling, so تلك دعواهم, that calling of theirs continues. Tilka da'wahum, that calling of theirs continues. Okay, and we can double check this one to make sure that's correctly translated, but that is kind of the idea of how you use the different words. And as you read the Quran, you will run into these sisters of kana, and you can practice them and make sure that you understand the usage. And that's it for today. Thank you so much, everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.